You are with Talks on the Way of Wisdom, the forum that discusses star battles in human consciousness, the secret of spiritual vigilance, the way to Nirvana. Imagine a life in which every thought, feeling, and action is carried out with complete clarity, and worries lose their power to unsettle us. Imagine how your mind, instead of wandering and worrying, is filled with a sense of stability and inner peace. Ancient records tell us that such a state is not an unattainable idealization, but a very real goal for anyone who dares to take the way of spiritual cultivation. Inspired by the Buddhist tradition that points to the deep meaning of spiritual vigilance, this text will take us on a journey inward, to the core of human consciousness. Why is this important? Because spiritual vigilance doesn't just teach us to observe our thoughts, it shows us how to direct them to find the source of true joy and freedom. In what follows, we'll look at the key elements in this process. We'll discuss how spiritual vigilance helps us overcome inner obstacles, tap into the deep joy of awareness, and realize how frivolity can distract us from spiritual growth. The text that follows is structured to guide you through the essential steps in mastering this practice and to inspire you to make what you learn an integral part of your life. Spiritual vigilance, the key to overcoming internal obstacles. Spiritual vigilance is the conscious observation and presence in the present moment, a state in which our attention is focused on our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without allowing ourselves to be distracted by uncontrolled urges. According to ancient scrolls, this process resembles a skilled craftsman straightening an arrow to perfect form. In the spirit of our title, The Secret of Spiritual Vigilance, the way to Nirvana, spiritual vigilance is seen as an indispensable tool for spiritual transformation and inner freedom. It reveals the hidden mechanisms of the mind, helps us identify negative thought patterns, and prompts us to transform them into constructive experiences. When we are mindful, we act with clarity and compassion. We do not let ourselves get caught in the dangerous whirlpool of unconscious emotions and indiscriminate thoughts. This is how we overcome the obstacles that come from within: doubts, fears, the temptation to give in to restlessness or disappointment. Spiritual vigilance offers us a chance to look around at the real causes of suffering and insecurity. It is through awareness and acceptance of what is that we open the door to a harmonious life. In this way, spiritual vigilance is not just a practice or a technique. It becomes our mental compass, guiding the mind toward inner peace and authenticity. With its help, we overcome the dark sides of the mind and arrive at a more whole version of ourselves. We can say that when we learn to overcome our inner obstacles, the way to spiritual transformation begins to reveal itself to us with increasing clarity and depth. The joy of awareness is a path. The joy of awareness comes from the ability to live fully in each moment, transcending anxiety and frivolity. The ancient teachers tell us that this type of joy is a deep inner experience. It does not come from outside, but is born in the very heart of presence. This is why mindfulness is associated with spiritual transformation and freedom of mind. In the context of our main theme, how mindfulness leads to spiritual transformation and inner freedom, the joy that comes with awareness makes the path to nirvana tangible and inspiring. The smile that appears is not just a momentary happiness, but a sign that we are coordinated with the deeper essence of being. When we tap into this joy, we realize how our fragmented inner world gradually comes into order, worries fall away, and thoughts become more productive and peaceful. This process is universal. Every person, regardless of life experience or spiritual beliefs, can experience this joy. It requires no special conditions or ostentation, only a sincere striving for awareness. That is why the path to Nirvana, the symbol of the highest inner freedom, becomes realizable when we can accept life events as they are and connect them with the moment in which they happen. This deep connection is the key to releasing the fear, guilt, and inner conflicts that often distract us from true happiness. In this way, the joy of awareness grows into a universal path to harmony and spiritual awakening. The obstacles of frivolity to spiritual growth. Frivolity, characterized by a lack of attention and awareness, undermines spiritual growth by diverting the mind from important goals. If mindfulness is a lantern illuminating the path to nirvana, frivolity is the shadow that obscures that light. Frivolity often manifests as a habit of distraction, jumping to conclusions, or ignoring the signals the mind sends for our own well-being. Such an approach underestimates the seriousness of our inner world and interrupts the natural rhythm of our spiritual development. When we are frivolous, it is easy to miss the important lessons that life presents to us, lessons needed to achieve inner stability and peace. Like a fish desperately struggling to get back into the water, the mind tries to escape this state of restlessness and recklessness. But without awareness and constant attention, this attempt remains unsuccessful and our spiritual potential untapped. To transcend levity requires a purposeful and sustained striving for mindful presence. When we allow ourselves to be mindful in each moment, we begin to see more clearly where and how we fall asleep on our journey. In this way, we can awaken true values and develop resilience against external and internal distractions. Overcoming frivolity, the solid foundation on which to develop our mindfulness and move closer to the harmony symbolized by Nirvana. Let's summarize. The path to spiritual growth is a process of constant practice and introspection. From ancient scriptures and legends, we learn that mindfulness is the unmistakable key to overcoming inner barriers and opening the mind to higher understanding. Inherently, it requires the courage to be honest with ourselves and the dedication to be fully present in each moment. Out of this dedication is born a joy that transcends the ordinary feeling of happiness and reaches deep spiritual levels. But to fully realize this potential, we must also realize how detrimental frivolity can be, the habit of distraction, of running away from the uncomfortable or taking everything for granted. At the heart of the ideas under consideration are three main theses that outline the core of the theme. The first, mindfulness as a means of overcoming inner obstacles. It is conscious observation and presence in the moment, enabling one to see through one's negative emotions and delusions and transform them into sources of growth. The second, the joy of awareness as a path to nirvana. It arises from the ability to live fully in each moment, freeing the mind from worries and paving the way to deeper inner happiness. And the third, the need to overcome frivolity. This quality, marked by a lack of attention and a lack of awareness, distracts us from the real goals of the spiritual journey and prevents us from touching our full potential. They encompass the entire spectrum of inner work necessary for a truly transformative spiritual practice. Mindfulness teaches us how to see clearly, the joy of awareness energizes us, and overcoming frivolity keeps us from losing focus and meaning. The combination of these three aspects forms a comprehensive approach to achieving inner freedom, a state in which the mind is light and quiet, and the heart is filled with understanding and compassion. Whether this knowledge becomes real practice is up to each one of us. Let us take the first step today, the step towards a more conscious tomorrow. We are asked to make a daily check of the mind, to observe our reactions, and to choose the path of mindfulness over frivolity. In this way, this secret of mindfulness will become a source of inspiration and stability, paving the way to a more fulfilling, peaceful, and spiritually uplifted life. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. We'd love to hear your opinion.